Welcome to 𝗖𝘆𝗯𝗲𝗏𝗂𝗏 on Air, diving deep into cybersecurity, brought to you by CyTech International. In each episode, we'll bring you insightful conversations with CISOs, uncovering their strategies, challenges, and the evolving landscape of cybersecurity in different industries. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out in the field, there's something here for everyone. So sit back, relax, and join us as we explore the minds behind the security of our digital world. Let's get started.
Welcome to our year-end special, first podcast episode titled Cybersecurity Resolutions Preparing Your Business for a Secure New Year. I'm your host, 𝗲𝗏𝗲𝗏, and today we have a very special guest with us, the founder and president of CyTech International, Mr. Chen Heffer. He's had more than 2 decades of experience as a CISO and 3 decades in the cyber industry. He's also experienced holding several key security positions around the world. So hello, Sir Chen. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, 𝗲𝗏𝗲, thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
So let's dive right in. As we look back on the past year, what do you think were the most significant cybersecurity challenges businesses faced?
Yeah, I would say the supply chain was and still is very much the weak link of businesses today. We rely heavily on our vendors. We rely heavily on them to do the right things. But, if you look at the relationship with the vendors and the ability for us to control cybersecurity with them, we really only have a contract between us and a vendor. So that's not much of a control if you think about it. And it's the same thing with any vendors, small or big. If you look at AWS, for example, you say, what kind of contract do I have with them? Well, you do have a contract with AWS, and they commit or not commit to whatever security controls to put in place. I'll give you an example with AWS, with GCP, Google, and others, big names as vendors, cloud vendors. They have what we call SOC 2 Type 2, and the report that they put online for us to use in order to trust them. So basically they come in and they tell you, trust us. But then something happens and you ask yourself, what is my ability to gain control here of the incident? What is my ability to gain compensation? The supply chain is the soft belly of cybersecurity. We don't have much control there.
So that sounds like a challenge. Can you share some specific examples or case studies that illustrate these issues?
Of course, we have a big one. I think the whole world saw the supply chain at its best, right? The soft belly of cybersecurity when we all experienced the CrowdStrike incident. The CrowdStrike incident, it's a reminder that the supply chain is the soft spot. However, it's not a CrowdStrike incident. It's any vendor incident. They develop this product, wonderful product, and they do wonderful things in the cyber industry. They're very advanced and they're very innovative in what they do. Something happened there that was not all the way right, all the way cooked and ready to be distributed to the market. Somebody made a mistake. Mistakes happen all the time, especially when you have businesses in this size and in this daring, innovative technology like CrowdStrike, and a lot of respect for them. The solution is not with CrowdStrike. The solution is not with the vendors. The solution is with us, the organizations that use this vendor, to be able to say, okay, this vendor is critical more than others. So you see that certain organizations that didn't take CrowdStrike as a critical vendor, they're the ones to fail. Because when you look at others that did define CrowdStrike as one of the critical vendors, they survived, they recovered quickly from this incident. And that's very interesting to learn about the supply chain.
So given these challenges, what were some of the key lessons learned in the cybersecurity field this year?
Again, the supply chain is a big one. I think the challenges that we saw are all derived from how much I can trust my vendor. But again, that's not the right question. To me, as a CISO, as a well-experienced CISO, I already know that vendors, between me and the vendor, I only have a contract. So let's put it out there. This is the one control that I have. If I will do my work to rank my suppliers, all of them, those with physical access to my facilities, those with virtual access to my facility, I'm dependent on them to do some of the work that I do. We call it in CyTech under the 𝗏 methodology, CBP's critical business processes. So some of my critical business processes relying on some vendors. So when I look at my vendors, I need to look at map risks and manage them just like any other risks. So the challenges we saw this past year is to be able to really rank those risks as risks and not as something that is nice to look at because I have some money left over. Okay, I'm going to do some supply chain risk management. No. This is part of your overall risk map of cyber, and cyber is part of the overall risk map of the organization. It needs to be treated this way. And I think organizations after CrowdStrike worldwide now starting to understand that supply chain risk management is part of a bigger picture of overall risk management in the organization.
Okay, so as we prepare for the new year, what are some cybersecurity resolutions you would recommend for businesses?
Well, obviously, when we look at the trends in the past year, and I'm not trying to share a prophecy here, it's just the trends, just looking at past years and looking at the trends. So you can expect cyber insurance prices to still go up. Between 2022 and 2023 and 2024, we see a rise of 40% in insurance premiums. That means that now for me to have an insurance with me when I lose money to cyber incidents, I'm paying 40% more for that luxury of having an insurance company with me. Insurance prices will go up more, and part of this is because organizations do not cover all bases for them. Supply chain, I already said it, the supply chain will be targeted more and more. Especially those that are in the cloud vendors. And I'm not talking about Amazon or Google or the big ones that really put a lot of attention on that one. I'm talking about the mid-level ones, those that have a SaaS somewhere, for example, CyTech. In CyTech, we have the CISO workplace. It's a solution as a software as a solution, system as a solution. We call it SaaS. So we are basically, to our clients, in some way, we are a cloud vendor. Because if our cloud is not secure enough, then our vendors cannot get everything they need to get from the CISO workplace. That might affect their ability to detect something or to respond to something. So the mid-level suppliers or the supply chain, mid-level in the cloud environment, the big one. Also, phishing. Phishing is becoming much more sophisticated these days. It's almost impossible for executives, and I'm talking as an executive in CyTech, almost impossible for executives to be able to look at an email and with a span of attention of half a second probably that we put in every email. We don't put more than that. I always tell to my colleagues in CyTech, and you probably heard that in CyTech, I don't really read emails. I'm looking for the bottom line. When you write to me a long email, I don't read it. I need a short email, give me the bottom line. What is it that you need from me, right? What kind of resolution do I need to make? So when this is the landscape of executives and the tension around being an executive in a company is higher than before, emails, sophisticated emails that require you just to say yes here or to click there are very easy to deliver and very easy to manipulate the executive when the span of attention is very short. So phishing, spear phishing, whale phishing for the executives, for the C-level, we're going to see a lot of that, and a lot of organizations fall prey under that one. This is more than 50% of the vector of attack of today's incidents.
So, looking ahead, what emerging trends in cybersecurity should businesses be aware of in the coming year?
AI. AI, artificial intelligence. I always say AI. Let's remember, it sounds great. It sounds like a big trend everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. Elon Musk is having his podcast on it. Great. But we tend to forget the A before the I. It's artificial. It's not real. It's not a person. It's not a human brain. It's still artificial. It's still in the making. And to be honest, most of my experience with AI is that AI is out there. They're not always telling you the truth. You need to actually check the results. You cannot just, take it as it is and say, oh, AI said that, so I'm going to use it as a response to something. No, you need to check your AIs. And when we look at cybersecurity and the protection, that's the solution, the cyber solution that we might get during 2025 and years to come, the one thing that organizations need to pay attention to is not to fall to this place of having a false sense of security when they use AI solutions. AI solutions need to be, they're great, they shorten the time, they make our work more efficient, they shorten the time that we need to pay attention to all the small details, and they do give us the big picture almost immediately, right? But they're still artificial. So you cannot say, and I've heard that from organizations, that concerns me, that I heard from CISOs out there, we're gonna go all AI by 2026. Wrong. Because you think you're gonna negate the need for a person. Never gonna happen. As long as we have human beings between the screen and the keyboard, you're always gonna have to have human beings to protect them. There's no all AI in cybersecurity. I think there will never be.
So how can businesses stay ahead of these emerging threats, especially with AI?
So I don't know if it's my age. I turned 50 this year, so I don't know if it's my age or my 30 years experience. But old school, I will say old school. Old school cybersecurity. Old school. I call it old school because we tend to forget about the first two. And I refer to people, process, technology, just like what we have in our slogan in CyTech. It all comes with the people. It starts with the people. People communicate with people, people buy from people, people do business with people, and people are the ones to lead cyber. People set the processes, and then we use technology to automate the processes. You cannot look just through the eyes of technology on cybersecurity. So I call it old school. It's not really old school. It's the order of how security needs to be done.
Okay, so before we wrap up, what final piece of advice would you give to business leaders to ensure they are prepared for the cybersecurity challenges of the new year, based on this year?
This is an everyday, not just a new year, an everyday thing. Be prepared to fail. Be prepared to fail. Know that cybersecurity is never bulletproof. It's not 100%, no matter how talented your CISO is, no matter if you work with CyTech and you get the full package and you work with Chen and everything, you got everything right, all the checkboxes for cybersecurity, you will still fail. And the sooner you accept the fact that cybersecurity will fail, the better it is for you, Mr. Client, organization, big names out there. You need to practice cyber failure. Without you practicing it, without you actually going through the motion of having a cyber drill, something failed and we're under attack. What do we do now? What do we do then? Go through the protocols. In CyTech, we embedded something that's called TEP, Threat Escalation Protocol. We start with level 3, which is internal with cyber and IT, and we go to level 2, which includes a lot of senior in the organization. It goes all the way to level 1, which includes the board of directors, my PR office, public relations, obviously marketing, right? They need to be out there, they need to deliver the message, but also the regulators. How about practice a failure that includes tip 1, all the people outside the organization? And if you're a public company and you don't do that, you really can be perceived as negligence. So be prepared to fail with cybersecurity, not just this year, not just the new year, every day. Be prepared to fail and practice failure, because that's really the way to manage your cybersecurity.
Okay, so thank you so much, Sir Ken, for sharing your expertise with us today. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Pleasure being here, Kama. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to our year-end special podcast episode. We hope you found this discussion valuable and are inspired to make cybersecurity a top priority in the new year. Until next time, stay safe and secure.
Happy New Year and happy holidays.
Exciting insights from CISO experts are just around the corner. Make sure you don't miss out on our next episode. Subscribe and follow CyTech International on YouTube and connect with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Or visit our website at cytechint.com. Stay tuned and stay informed.